I got snow, I got ice.
Let's go.
So yeah, like when I talk that dope boy Joe shit. Ay. I got snow, I got ice, I'm the weatherman. Yo nigga arguing about the price, you need a better man. I got sticks, I got jumps like a headband. Married to the game, but I don't win no wedding band. I got snow, I got ice, I'm the weatherman. Yo nigga arguing about the price, you need a better man. I got sticks, I got jumps like a headband. Married to the game, but I don't win no wedding. $500,000 bill right after arraignment. Switch all of these cause them bugs ain't nothing to play with. I just point, fuck a price, she looked in amazement. Her last nigga left the dealer with payment arrangements. My life's out of order but paper straight. I'm crooked but my God is great. Won't you let me take you on a date? That's a rhetorical question, I'm always giving those. Along with dick in the Uber, I'm never cuffing hoes. I got snow, I got ice, I'm the weatherman. Yo nigga arguing about the price, you need a better man. I got sticks, I got jumps like a headband. Married to the game, but I don't win no wedding band. I got snow, I got ice, I'm the weatherman. Yo nigga arguing about the price, you need a better man. I got sticks, I got jumps like a headband. Married to the game, but I don't win no wedding band. Pull up with the roof drop, eating on the rooftop. I've been leveled up, but she said, boy, I'm giving you top. I blast, put a palm on that ass and grip the veal chop. And told her, hey, now you grab some meat. She like, yo, chill, stop. Send a bill out. Then I peel not, then we peel out with my concealed fire. Violated probation, I'm like, for real, stop. Here come the sirens and free, she a for real cop. I got snow, I got ice, I'm the weatherman. Yo nigga arguing about the price, you need a better man. I got sticks, I got jumps like a headband. Married to the game, but I don't win no wedding band. I got snow, I got ice, I'm the weatherman. Yo nigga arguing about the price, you need a better man. I got sticks, I got jumps like a headband. Married to the game, but I don't win no wedding band.
Make sure y'all hit that like button. We're gonna get started shortly. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Let's go.
Shit, I can elevate you. Bad bitches, I nominate you. Went to jail, I was in population. Pocket watching, that's an observation. Pocket bet you there for demonstration. Racked up, that's an understatement. I'm in the street, that's my congregation. Money dog, my infatuation. May say a meal off a bustin', baby. Real niggas, they appreciate me. Whole niggas gon' soldier hate me. I'm leveled up on every case. Yo, whole tonsils, I'm penetrating. Switch hustles, I done level it up. Level down, I done level it up. Grind for it, I done level it up. Put in work, I done level it up. Switch hustles, I done level it up. Double down, I done level it up. Grind for it, I done level it up. Put in work, I done level it up. Switch hustles, I done level it up. Double down, I done level it up. Grind for it, I done level it up. Put in work, I done level it up. Switch hustles, I done level it up. Double down, I done level it up. Grind for it, I done level it up. Put in work, I done level it up. Dead serious about the Manyon. Came up from a Scanyon. Your little homie is a peon. Seen him before, this a rerun. High stepping like I'm Dion. Neck cold like Freon. I just had me a threesome. Broad day round 3, son. Got the juice, yeah, Capri Sun. Finesse your dog for the big one. Security guard, don't need one. Riding around with a big bum. Only smoke on big blunt. Came a long way from Freeland. Cosign, ain't need one. Got the bag and I'ma keep one. Switch hustles, I done level it up. Level down, I done level it up. Grind for it, I done level it up. Put in work, I done level it up. Switch hustles, I done level it up. Double down, I done level it up. Grind for it, I done level it up. Put in work, I done level it up. Switch hustles, I done level it up. Double down, I done level it up. Grind for it, I done level it up. Put in work, I done level it up. Switch hustles, I done level it up. Double down, I done level it up. Grind for it, I done level it up. Put in work, I done level it up.
Not like y'all, you're not like us. No check. Gun not trust. Bow. The gun not trust. Bow. Let's do it. Bow. Not like y'all, you're not like us. in the hall. Bow. Bullets going through the walls. Bow. My niggas tripping for a course. Yeah. We got this bitch on all fours. See him, we on. They do what I told them. We crossed every T and we dot every I and we watched every corner. Look. We made it home safe, you gon' know that I'm good when I call in the morning. Niggas know I always call in the morning. None of my niggas in the morning. One up, scoring, shot good, Jordan, ballin'. Now we can put diamonds in our crosses. You see what happened when they cross us? Losses, they taking losses. I turn my niggas into bosses. They think I made it out. If bro do a hit, I'ma pay him out. Look at what they allow. He never sit up, he get bailed out. Free JD out the jailhouse. I can win until he sell out. He need a pack, I send the mail out. We need a pack, I send the mail out. We not like y'all, you're not like us. Nah, and the gun I trust. I'ma come right up. Gotta watch you cause the gun might bust. War, everybody on the floor. We don't knock, we shoot through the door. We give a fuck who the king of New York. I say what I mean when I talk. The hood ain't showing no remorse. Gunfights in the hall. Bullets going through the walls. My niggas tripping for a course. Yeah, we got this bitch on all fours.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? How are you? How are you? Welcome to Zone 864 TV on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second here. Okay. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Zone 864, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about a little bit of news this morning. So as you come into the live stream, please make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. We're going to take our times with, we're going to take our time with this one this morning. We're gonna give YouTube some time to get everyone back in here, you know, because I know I play music at the beginning of the live stream, and you know it kind of throws off the algorithm, but you know, oh man, I need to get amped. You feel what I'm saying? I need to get amped, so I play a little bit of music. You feel what I'm saying? Let's see who we got in here. Jesus is King. Amen to that. Amen. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button as we get started this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got the big homie in the building, the Bell 5000. The Bell 5000 is saying, what do the Democrats got to say about the Epstein files? Well, the Democrats are trying to act like, they want law and order. The Democrats are trying to act like they want law and order. They're trying to act like they want justice. And they're going to try to, every little piece of dirt that they can, they're going to try to throw that on the president. They're going to try to throw that on the Republicans. And, when I have these discussions, it's not really about Republicans and Democrats and Republicans, because both these parties are shady, man. Both these parties are shady, man. Both the Republican and the Democrats are dirty dogs, scheming and conniving. And, the funny thing The funny thing, about, Jeffrey is that, the Democrats, they want to try to put as much of this on Trump as they possibly can. But the Democrats are definitely responsible as well. The Democrats are definitely, I would say, even more responsible than the Republicans. You know what I'm saying? Like I said in my last stream, when you run it for politics, whether it doesn't matter whether you're mayor, governor, you're in the Senate, you're in the House, running for president, they already got all the dirt on you. You feel what I'm saying? Like they already got all the ammunition stacked up against you, so that they can use that to try to bring you down. And this is whether you're Democrat or Republican. If you're a Democrat and you're running for president, best believe they got all the ammunition they need against you. If you're a Republican, you running for president, best believe they got all the ammunition already stacked up against you. Let me see here. We got some, and as y'all enter the chat, because like I said, we're gonna slow walk this one. You know what I'm saying? Because I played music in the beginning of the stream. You know what I'm saying? YouTube want to slow it. They want to try to manipulate the algorithm a little bit, but it's all cool. It's 3:43 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So we're gonna give everybody some time to get in here because, not only do I have the content for us to talk about, but I often say that, my chat room is a place where everybody can congregate. This is the late night, early morning hangout spot. The Bell 5000 says, now they know Trump was the whistleblower. Yeah. I mean, but and there's other whistleblowers. There's other whistleblowers as well. You feel what I'm saying? Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, hell, basically half the damn house are whistleblowers. Speaker Mike Johnson, so Jeffrey was just an ace in the back pocket. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a 100 like goal every stream. So we're at 3 likes, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys enter the live chat, let me know where y'all watching in the world. Let me know where y'all watching from. Let me know if you're in the States. Let me know if you're in the UK, Africa, Australia, India, South America. We even had Russia in here last time. So we're gonna slow walk this one. We're not gonna rush it, because I definitely have some content, lined up for us to take in and then I have some fun content for us to take in afterwards, if we even make it that far. Because, sometimes, I just get to going on and, about different information. And sometimes I just have to end the stream. Sometimes we don't even get to the fun stuff. You feel me? Let me see. So we got someone in the chat saying, so the Bell 5000, you truly feel like he's a whistleblower and not a part of the problem? Seriously. I'll say this. Okay, I know that question was addressed directly to the Bell 5000, the big homie, but I'll say this. Trump is part of the problem, but he's not as big a problem as a Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. Trump is not a big problem like career politicians. And I think people seem to get that because, President Trump was obviously president before, was president from 2016 to 2020. So, and the funny thing about it is people don't understand that President Trump wasn't even a Republican his whole political career. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure we're going to be here at least an hour and a half, at least. We're going to be here at least an hour and a half. So we do have a 100 like goal. I know a lot of content creators, tend to ask you for Cash Apps, Venmo, Super Chat, and I'm definitely going to do that. But, I'm in the investment phase with my channel right now. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure we get a solid, I want to make sure we all good. We all locked in with each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to know my subscribers by name. You feel me? And I know that's going to be impossible, but I need y'all to show up on the regular so that I can know y'all by name, so that I can have a history with y'all. You feel what I'm saying? So we do have a 100 like goal. Right now we're at 4 likes. We need 96 more likes to get to 100 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Those likes, to me, that's more important than money. That's more important than money. And I need those likes, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot stress that enough. I need those likes. So we at 5 likes. We need 95 more likes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's free. All you have to do, if you're on a computer, just hit the like button. If you want if you want an Android or iPhone, just double tap the screen. Or if you're on an Android, there's 3 dots in the top right-hand corner. Hit that and then hit the thumbs up button. Salute to JD 1975 in the building. Good morning to you, my good sir. Let me see here. We got some more comments, and let me know where y'all checking in. Let me know where y'all checking in the world. Let me know y'all checking in from the States. I'm over here on the West Coast. You know, it's holiday season on the West Coast. There's no holiday. There's no holidays like the holidays on the West Coast. I'm sorry. I was born and raised the first half of my life on the East Coast of the United States, but I've been a bi-coastal baby, not bisexual, a bi-coastal baby, you know, my entire life. So I've been going back and forth between the West Coast and the East Coast my entire life. The first time I ever stepped foot on the West Coast was 1995 or 1996. And I was born in 1988. So the first time I stepped foot on the West Coast was 1995 or 6, I believe. 1995 or 6. Let's see what we got. We got everybody checking in. We got a few people checking in on the chat. We're going to get started here shortly, chat. We just want to give YouTube a little bit of time to roll out the algorithm because, you know, when I played the music at the beginning of the stream, which I'm probably going to have to stop doing that, you know, it kind of slows down the algorithm a little bit. So we actually already had way more. We actually had 20 people in here already. We actually had 20 people in here at the beginning of the stream, but when I played the music, it kind of boggled the algorithm a little bit. Give me the money says what the stream is about. Well, you read the title. You read the title, so I don't need to tell you what the stream is about. You read the title. The title is what the stream is about. We're going to watch some information here about what's going on. Everybody know that, you know, Ukraine and Russia, you know, is having a war right now. This war has been going on for about 3 years right now. And, you know, I don't care what anybody say. You know, to be honest, my personal opinion, I definitely voted for, you know, President Trump. I definitely voted. Now, I didn't vote for him the first time. I actually voted for Hillary Clinton the first time because I was still brainwashed with that Democratic bullshit, you know. But I definitely voted for Hillary Clinton the first time. And, you know, I regret that. I regret that because she got a lot of innocent people killed over there in Benghazi. Let me see. The Bell 5000 is saying, do you feel everybody on the list should be indicted? I definitely feel everybody on the list should be indicted. You know, if you're taking an oath, you know, to the country, if you're taking an oath to serve the people, I definitely think everybody on the list should be indicted. You know, if you have nothing to hide, then you should be willing to cooperate. Somebody's asking me if I'm in Sweden. I'm not in Sweden. I'm on the West Coast of the United States of America in state 48. So if you know what state 48 is, that's where I am. That's where I am. I'm in the hottest city in America. I'm in the hottest city in America in the summertime. Ladies and gentlemen, we need 100 likes. We have 6 likes. So as you enter the as you enter the live chat, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button as you enter the live chat. We need 100 likes, ladies and gentlemen. We need 93 more likes, ladies and gentlemen, to get there. But let me see what else we got. What else we got going on? Let me see what we got going on in the chat. What y'all doing for the holiday? Y'all know Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Y'all know Thanksgiving is tomorrow. And it's funny because you know technology is crazy, yo. I just got a notification. From my barber right now. You know what I'm saying? I got a barber appointment at 11 a.m. You feel me? And you know what's funny is, because last stream, somebody came on the last stream, and they was like, yo, can you give me your Cash App so I can send you some money for a lineup, so I can send you some money for a haircut. And see, the funny thing, right? The funny thing is I actually am a barber. That's the funny thing. If I wanted to, I could cut my own hair. I just don't be cutting my own hair because I don't have time like I used to back in the day, and it's tedious. I actually used to make money cutting dudes' hair. In high school, I used to cut dudes' hair before football games. You know what I'm saying? So they could be fresh when they go to the football games. I used to cut football. I played football in high school, JV and varsity. So I used to cut dudes' hair in high school, whether they either going to be watching or whether they're going to be playing on the field. You feel what I'm saying? So they could be fresh for the weekend, because we used to play football on Friday, play football Thursday, Friday, go to the skate ring Saturday, probably hang out, go to the movies or something on Sunday. So it's funny that, some dude tried to come in the chat room and try to diss me in my last live stream. And I know he was being funny, and I thought it was funny. Because, I be on stream and I be looking scruffy and stuff like that. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The reason why I do what I do, and I don't have to explain myself to nobody, but I'm going to explain it anyway, because this might be some game or some information for some younger men in the audience, or, whoever going to watch this playback. See, the funny thing is, the reason that I let my hair grow out, I let my beard grow out, and like I said, I'm a barber. I can line myself up whenever I want to. I can cut my hair. I can give myself a fade whenever I want to. Don't ever think that I don't got the money to take care of myself, to groom myself, because I definitely do. But the reason that I don't do that is because, it's important to let your hair grow. You know what I'm saying? Because if you lining yourself up all the time, all you doing is just pushing your hairline back. You feel what I'm saying? So it's important to let your hair grow, because one day my hair might not grow anymore. One day my hair might not grow anymore. So it's important to let your hair grow as long as it possibly can. You feel me? And my hairline's so good, I take care of my joints so good that even if I don't get a lineup for weeks at a time, like, you can still actually see my natural hairline. And that's why a lot of these young dudes at 28, 29, this is why they be like starting to bald and stuff, because they keep going to the barber every single week and their hairline is getting pushed back every single week. You feel what I'm saying? So it's important to let your hair grow. You feel what I'm saying? Just like it's important for you to fast, because you can't keep eating and eating and eating all the time, because that's going to be fat that's storing up in your body. So sometimes you got to give your body a break so your body can actually so your metabolism can catch up, and burn everything that's in your system. And that's why it's important. You got to learn how to take care of yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you can't be worried about what everybody else think. You got to learn how to take care of yourself. You have to know you. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Somebody says, is Cisco black? I definitely think he's either black or Puerto Rican. You feel what I'm saying? Because Cisco got some Latin features in his face. So he could be black. Well, he's definitely black. Let me say that. But he could have some Puerto Rican in him. He definitely has like a kind of a Latin thing when he talks, but if you look at Cisco's face, you know, the dude that's saying don 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 don, that the don song. I like it when your booty go. I like it when your booty go. That don 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 don. Yeah, the dude that's saying that song, yeah, he might be Puerto Rican. You know, I know he's black for sure, but he might have some Puerto Rican in his family. As y'all enter the chat, let me know where y'all checking in from. I know that we on here really early. It's 3:37 a.m. Mountain Standard Time where I am. 3:37. I got it. I'm a little bit lit, y'all. I'm a little bit lit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little bit lit. So yeah, I'm not high or nothing, but I'm a little bit lit. You know what I'm saying? Off the drink a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? I had to get right before I hit that live stream. But you know, it's the nighttime. I put in my work. You know what I'm saying? I got to go put in some more work a little bit later today. You know, but I like to be a little bit calm, you know, when I'm on this live stream. But make sure y'all hit that like button. We need 100 likes, ladies and gentlemen. We need 100 likes. We're at 9 likes. We need 100 likes. You know, I notice, I guess everybody's on vacation. So we might not have the normal number of viewers that we have. You know, people are traveling across the country and it's all good. It's holiday season. Make sure y'all be safe. Make sure y'all take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you enjoy your loved ones. But let's see what we got going on in the chat, because I definitely got content for us to take in. But, you know, I'm definitely all about the chat, because without the chat, there is no me. You feel me? So I'm definitely all about the chat. Salute to one of the mods in here, Scott the Rock. Appreciate you for joining us this morning, early this morning. Let's see. We got a comment in the chat room. See that to me is the issue. It's not about Democrats. It's not about Republicans. It's about us, the people, again. I will say, ask the people, not billionaires. I feel that. But here's the thing about it. There's always going to be billionaires. There's always going to be millionaires. And I'm going to tell any and everybody under the sound of my voice right now, if you got a chance to be a millionaire, go and be a millionaire. If you got a chance to be a billionaire, go and be a billionaire. If you get a chance to be a trillionaire, go and be a trillionaire. Because one of the bad things about common working class people is that everyday working class people have, not all, but have a broke mentality. People who go to church, people who are heavy into religion have a broke mentality. You're taught that money is bad. You're taught that wealth is bad. You're taught that being rich is bad. You're taught that having the finer things in life is bad, and it's not bad. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. It's what you're willing to do for money that's bad. So if you can get your money by being the next Amazon, by being the next Tesla, by being the next Trump Towers, get your money legal, you know what I mean? And get that money and be successful and take care of your family and build generational wealth, because money is not bad. And that is the problem that a lot of Americans have. A lot of Americans hate millionaires and billionaires because, you know, they feel like the millionaires and billionaires are taking advantage of the American people. And they are. The millionaires and billionaires are definitely taking advantage of the American people. But here's the thing. They're also, the millionaires and billionaires are putting up the houses. They're putting up the apartment and condos that we live in. They're also providing us with the jobs that we do every single day. You feel me? And like I said in my last stream, you know, somebody was saying that, you know, it's a crime that millionaires and billionaires don't pay taxes. But here's the problem, y'all. Here's the problem. The problem, and trust me, I'll say this, right? Because I don't want to give away too much information. I lived in a place where when I wake up in the morning, there's at least one or two millionaires in the coffee shop. Every single morning. Every single morning. I live in a place, I'll say this. I lived, because I don't live there anymore. I lived in a place, if you guys know anything about State 48 and you guys know anything about Michael Phelps, because Michael Phelps lives where I'm talking about. Michael Phelps lives where I'm talking about. When all the celebrities come to State 48 where I am, when they want to party, right? They go to a place right up the street where I used to live, right? Every morning when I would go get coffee or go get tea, there's a millionaire. There's at least one or two millionaires. And I'll be a little bit more specific. There's a place called Renegade Coffee. Renegade Coffee. In a place where I used to live. There's at least one or two millionaires every morning, right? You talk to these guys, they're wearing regular polo shirts, regular khaki shorts, and some loafers. And you strike up a conversation and you find out that these people are actually regular people. It's just that they maybe had a little bit of a head start with some financial wealth, some stuff that their ancestors left them, or they're a smart business person. And then as you start talking to them, you start understanding the struggles that the struggles that come with having money in America. Even myself as an entrepreneur, the more money I make, the more problems I have. Why? Because there's a certain thing called the IRS. See, people that work traditional 9-to-5s, and there's nothing wrong with working a traditional 9-to-5. A 9-to-5 is used as a source of income to get money to support your lifestyle. Or you can work it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years if you're lucky and retire if you manage your money right. But when you talk to these people, you find out how difficult it is to actually have money in America. Making money in America is one thing. Keeping it is another thing. And ladies and gentlemen, we have 12 likes. We have 12 likes. We need 100 likes. So we need 88. We need 88 more likes, ladies and gentlemen. We need 88 more likes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get started here with our first video of the morning. I tell people I'm 37. Barack Obama is the first president I ever voted for in life, and I regret voting for Barack Obama because, I fell into that trap of he's a black man, I'm a black man, he's the future. He's going to do what's best for America. And I will always say that, do I think Barack Obama is a brilliant man? Absolutely. Do I regret voting for him? I absolutely do. And here's why.
I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. But I also detest the sort of bashing and vilifying of gays and lesbians because I think it's unduly divisive. It's unnecessary. Most gays and lesbians are simply seeking basic recognition of their rights. We've got to make sure that everybody is equal under the law. And the civil unions that I proposed would be equivalent in terms of making sure that all the rights that are conferred by the state are equal for same-sex couples as well as for heterosexual couples. Now, with respect to marriage, it's my belief that it's up to the individual denominations to make a decision as to whether they want to recognize marriage or not. With respect to gay marriage, I do not support gay marriage, but I support a very strong version of civil unions where I think the state has to recognize the same rights and responsibilities for gay people, same-sex couples, as they do for anybody else. Because the state is not a religious institution, and I believe in equal protection under the law, and so making sure that the right to transfer property, hospital visitation, non-discrimination, all those principles apply to same-sex couples, I think is important.
Define marriage.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman.
Would you support a constitutional amendment with that definition?
No, I would not. I am not somebody who promotes same-sex marriage, but I do believe in civil unions. I do believe that we should not, that for gay partners to want to visit each other in a hospital, for the state to say, you know what, that's all right. I don't think in any way inhibits my core beliefs about what marriage are. I believe that gay couples deserve the same legal rights as every other couple in this country. You should never have to look over your shoulder to be gay in the United States of America. I issued an order so that any hospital in America that accepts Medicare or Medicaid, and that means just about every hospital, has to treat gay partners just as they do straight partners, because nobody should have to produce a legal contract to hold the hand of the person that they love.
Yeah. So, as I stated, before I started playing the video, Barack Obama was the first president I ever voted for. I fell for the bait. I fell for the trickery. I fell for the illusion. And, it's important that you educate yourself on whoever you're going to vote for, and I've said, and I'm going to continue to say numerous times, I'm an objective person. I'm not I may be subjective personally as far as, my own beliefs, my own thoughts, things of that nature. But, if I'm having a discussion with someone and they are approaching the discussion with differently than I am, I have no problem taking in that information and changing the way that I think. And I think that is a big problem that people in general have. Doesn't matter what country you're in. I think that a lot of people have that problem, that they're just stuck on, this brainwashed way of thinking that they were taught growing up, or that they were indoctrinated in via the public school system. So I definitely think it's important for you to be an objective person. And ladies and gentlemen, we do have a 100 like goal for every stream. Right now, we're at 13 likes. So I would like for us to get to 100 likes. And then also, ladies and gentlemen, I would like for us, we do have a subscriber goal as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all of you being here so much, so much. We have a subscriber goal of 900 subs, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we're at 884. Right now, we are at 884 subs, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a 900 subscriber sub. So if you could help us get to 900 subs this morning, and think of it as a Christmas, an early Christmas present. Think of it as an early Christmas present. I know some of you don't celebrate, Christmas, the holidays, but make an exception for me. Think of it as an early Christmas present. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you could hit that like button as you come into the live stream, let me know where you're checking in the world. Let me know if you're checking in from the States, Europe, Australia, Canada, Russia. Let me know where you're checking in from. This is the late night, and I actually got started a little bit later than I would like to. You know, typically I get started about 1 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 2 a.m., you know, in the dead of night, you know. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We have an uphill battle. You know, I guess maybe I have to stop playing music at the beginning of my live stream because it seems that YouTube has throttled the live stream. But it's all right. We're going to keep moving forward. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I am streaming on rumble.com as well. So if you have a Rumble account, go ahead and follow me and find me and follow me on Rumble as well, because, you know, right now we have the freedom of speech, but, you know, all it takes is for another Democrat to be in office and they're going to start, you know, banning YouTube channels again. So find me on Rumble, click the link. That should take you to the Rumble page. We're at 14 likes, ladies and gentlemen. We're at 14 likes. We need 86. We need 86 more likes, ladies and gentlemen. So as you're joining the live stream, make sure you hit that like button. And that's going to help get us to 100 likes. Also, you can find me on Kick as well. Because like I said, you know, right now with the current administration, we have the illusion of freedom of speech. But all it takes is another Democrat to get in office, and, you know, that could take it all away. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, we do have a 100 like goal for every stream. We have a 100 like goal for every stream. So if as you join in the stream, hit that like button. We need 85 more likes. We need 85 more likes. That's going to get us to 100 likes. We do have a 900 subscriber goal for this stream. Currently, we're at 886, ladies and gentlemen. So we're almost there. Think of it as an early Christmas present. And what are y'all doing for the holidays? What are y'all doing for the holidays, by the way? Are y'all traveling out of town? Are y'all staying at home? Like I know for myself, me personally, I'm staying on the West Coast. I'm staying on the West Coast because, like I said at the beginning of the stream, there's no holiday season like a West Coast holiday season. You know, I don't have to worry about snow, don't have to worry about ice, none of that kind of stuff. You know, if I want to see snow, all I have to do is drive 2 hours north to probably about 3 hours north of where I am, and there's snow. If I want to see snow, I just have to drive 3 hours north. You know. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. We are going to go ahead and get started, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, this live stream is about, you know, President Trump, you know, before the holidays, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. So, you know, there are some negotiations going on behind the scenes to try and bring this Ukraine-Russia war to an end, because, you know, it is a threat to national security, to America, because I don't know if you guys know how close Ukraine and Russia are, but they are really close. You know, this is not something that's far away. It's not like Asia. It's not like the Middle East. You know, this is really close. And of course, things could escalate. There's NATO. allies, all sorts of things. You know, Trump is a businessman, and you know, if he can use his business tactics to try to bring this to an end before, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, which I don't think he'll be able to end it before Thanksgiving, just because, you know, President Putin is definitely a very shrewd guy. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe before Christmas or before New Year's, yeah, but before Thanksgiving, I don't think it's going to happen. But as you come into the live stream, hit the like button. We're at 15 likes. We do need about 85 more likes to get to our goal of 100 likes. And let's go.
With only minor details left to sort out. The specifics, though. Welcome back. Breaking news on the war between Russia and Ukraine. A U.S. official tells CBS News that Ukraine has agreed to a U.S.-backed peace proposal with only minor details left to sort out. The specifics, though, are still unclear. But we are learning President Volodymyr Zelensky could travel to the United States for final touches as early as this week. I want to bring in Robert Murrett, Deputy Director of the Syracuse University Institute for Security Policy and Law. Robert, thank you for joining us on 24/7 today. With Ukraine apparently in agreement, what do you think it will take for Russia to sign off on this proposal?
And that is probably the most important question we have at this point. It's really encouraging based on what's happened in Geneva and also in Abu Dhabi just in the last several days. However, you know, what the Kremlin has to say about it after the agreement that apparently has been reached between the United States and Ukraine will be absolutely critical. So look forward to get some word on that here, hopefully in the next few days, and what, as you know, is a fast-moving story.
This week, we're hosting a free trading and investing workshop.
Sorry about that, guys. We got a quick commercial break, but let's go ahead and hit the like button on this quick commercial break. Let's get back to it.
What are the biggest challenges in getting this deal done, given how the terms differ from what was proposed during, I should say, the Trump and Putin summit just a few months ago?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of key elements. The biggest one, of course, is security guarantees, as you know, for the Ukrainians, and also a couple other of the things pertaining to territory and what the front lines would look like, especially for Donetsk, that one part of the so-called the Donbass, which is not occupied by the Russians yet. They seem to be agreeing to the current forward lines they've got in the other two provinces, Kherson and Zaporizhia, so that part of the geography looks fairly straightforward. But I think the big resistance that'll probably come out of the Kremlin will have to do with some of what they always describe as the underlying conditions, which is security guarantees for Ukraine, but some way precluding them from joining the NATO alliance, and also some ambiguous language regarding their joining the European Union.
Yeah. And Robert, as we said, we know a U.S. official says that Ukraine has agreed to this peace proposal. But from your experience, your expertise, what do you think will happen if Russia says no?
I think hopefully it would result in some additional pressure from the European partners and also the United States and Canada, which has been very straightforward. And we would have to have an understanding among all of us that we needed to continue to have significant pressure on the Kremlin leadership to somehow force them to the table and have an agreement that would be acceptable to the key stakeholders, all the key stakeholders, not in the least the Ukrainians, but also the European nations and the North American stakeholders for carrying this forward and having a lasting peace agreement that's actually going to stand the test of time.
And we know Russia has seen a lot of casualties in this war as well. I think it's important to mention that. And yet we know President Vladimir Putin has just continued to go on and has refused basically to come to the table to speak with President Zelensky. Do you think there's any amount of pressure at this point that could be put on Russia? You think of it, the nation has seen a lot of sanctions so far, and that hasn't made a difference.
Yeah, just, kind of step back, and that's a great point. I mean, Russia has a lot of problems, and they certainly have a tolerance for high casualties. Thousands and thousands are killed in action on a regular basis, which Western countries and also Ukraine would not tolerate. And just, the economic, demographic, social problems that Russia has. So I don't think there's any question that any reasonable person would conclude it would be very much in their interest and not be an international pariah anymore, and to end this conflict so they could rejoin the family of nations for the good of their own people. However, the Kremlin leadership just has this thing about Ukraine, and hopefully they'll be able to come off that, and additional pressure, if we can put it on them, will hopefully achieve that result.
Yeah. Robert Moret, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your insight.
The White House is touting what it calls tremendous progress in the effort to stop Russia's nearly 4-year assault against Ukraine. A U.S. official told CBS News Ukraine's government has agreed to a peace proposal with only minor details left to be sorted out. But there has been no immediate reaction from Russia. U.S. officials and diplomatic sources tell us that Army Secretary Jan Driscoll is in Abu Dhabi today, meeting with Russian officials. We're also told a delegation from Ukraine is there and has been talking to Driscoll and his team. Ukraine's national security advisor voiced optimism that President Volodymyr Zelensky could travel to the U.S. before the end of this month to finalize an agreement. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Elizabeth Palmer has more from our London bureau.
Everyone involved in the negotiations for this peace deal is making positive noises, except, that is, for the Russians. Ukraine has signaled its support. The Europeans are firmly behind Ukraine. And White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt tweeted that there has been tremendous progress. But what the actual terms of the deal are, nobody knows at this stage. The original proposal came on the weekend. It was a 24-point plan that appeared to be a win for Russia and a capitulation for Ukraine.
Guys, make sure you hit that like button as you enter the chat. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well and hit that notification bell so that you get the notification every time I go live. Let's go.
Crucially, it was going to demand that Ukraine give up 20% of its land, most of it occupied by Russia currently, but also some that Ukraine is still successfully defending. The proposal also stimulated that Ukraine would reduce the size of its armed forces by about a third and forfeit the right to join NATO. Also, the security guarantees for Ukraine in the event that Russia attacked again were pretty squishy. There were no promises in that deal that the U.S., for example, would intervene or help. European leaders weren't impressed. They pushed back on Ukraine's behalf. And there is a counter-proposal now public. It's lost the clause on Ukraine never joining NATO and also the shrinking of its military. But we just don't know whether that proposal has been incorporated into the version of the agreement that's currently on the table. Russia is not sounding overjoyed about all this, but for the moment is just saying it hasn't received anything official to accept or reject. So the next step may well be a visit by President Zelensky to the White House. Could be quite soon, before the end of the month, to iron out details with President Trump on a final version. And then the agreement will have to be put to the Russians. And then anything could happen, including a flat-out rejection. We'll just have to wait and see. Back to you.
You think you're fine after a car accident until this.
Okay, so we got a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. Please hit that like button. We're at 19 likes. We do have a like goal of 100 likes per stream. So every live stream, we have a like goal of 100 likes. So we need 79 more likes. That's going to get us to our like goal. And then also we have a subscriber goal of 900 subscribers. Currently, we're at 888 subscribers. So we're going to need about 12 more subscribers. That's going to get us to our subscriber goal. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell every time you go live, so that every time I go live, you're going to get that notification. You'll be able to join us in the live chat. You'll be able to join the conversation. You'll be able to say whatever you want to say in the live chat. I'm a pretty fair and balanced person. I try to be as objective as I possibly can be. But yeah, we don't tolerate no disrespect over here. So hit that like button. Let's go.
For more on this proposed peace deal, CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins us from our Washington bureau. I mean, to echo Liz's point, anything can happen, including a flat-out rejection. Ukraine not being allowed to join NATO has been a sticking point for Russia to stop its invasion. What are the next steps to take all sides to agree to a deal?
Well, Lindsay, we should certainly expect this to continue playing out publicly, as President Trump is very focused on the public rhetoric coming out of the White House, as well as what the Ukrainians, Europeans, and even the Russians are saying as he seeks to end the war. But what's happening behind closed doors is more important. We should expect the United States to continue to play a mediator role and to take the current draft of the proposal, which Ukraine has now agreed to. It's really their counter-proposal to what we now understand was largely a Russian-backed 28-point proposal. But for the United States to take that back to the Russians and to try to get to a point of convergence between the 28-point proposal and the now 19-point proposal. So I would expect extensive diplomacy over the next few days, including by a range of different officials from the Trump administration. We've seen Dan Driscoll, the Secretary of the Army, involved, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Special Envoy Witkoff and Jared Kushner. So the president is clearly deploying the full team to try to get to a deal.
Okay, so you just mentioned Kushner, Witkoff. They helped broker the Gaza peace deal. And you also talked about the importance of the behind closed doors diplomacy. We know Army Secretary Driscoll has been leading the talks. Why has he been seemingly the point person?
Well, I think there's two different pieces of this. There is ensuring that individuals who are known to have the president's ear and a close relationship with the president to be present. That's a Witkoff-Kushner piece of this. And at the same time, you do need subject matter experts to work on things like military concessions and NATO membership and more technical aspects of the deal. So I actually do think it's smart that various players are involved in these negotiations. Putin is going to need to know that any proposal that is presented to him has the backing of the U.S. president. At the same time, both parties are going to need to engage on the technical details with mediators that understand what they're discussing, whether it's the military aspects of the deal, frozen Russian assets. We could see Secretary Bessent involved, and more technical details.
All right, Sam Vinograd, thank you.
Thanks.
CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is here with more. Weijia, what are we hearing from the administration about this?
Well, both the U.S. and Ukraine are signaling a lot of optimism after days of intense negotiations, including a very high-level talk in Geneva. And today, we know that President Trump just spoke at that ceremony for those turkeys, and he said that he thought he was very close to reaching a final deal. He also signaled that he thought, even though it's not done yet, that the teams are getting there. And we also heard from the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, in what I should say is a very carefully worded and carefully crafted statement. She said over the past week, the U.S. has made tremendous progress towards a peace deal by bringing both Ukraine and Russia to the table. There are a few delicate but not insurmountable details that must be sorted out. And so even though a U.S. official did tell CBS News that the Ukrainians accepted the deal, the Ukrainians are also using softer language, stating that they came to an understanding of what will be in the updated plan. Now, remember, the original plan had 28 points that received a lot of criticism from Democrats and Republicans alike, who said Russia did not give any concessions in the agreement, and it was Ukraine that had to give up a lot, even accusing the administration of working directly with Moscow and asking whether this document was written in Russia and whether the Russians were the ones who actually wrote it. But the White House has completely pushed back on that, saying this was a U.S.-authored agreement, and they continue to work off of that to get closer. But, Lindsay, at this hour, nothing has been finalized yet.
Russia started all the killing in Ukraine. It didn't have to, but it did. More than 10,000 Ukrainian civilians have died as a result. The number of Ukrainian military wounded and dead, many multiples of that. Infrastructure across Ukraine is destroyed or in some state of barely functioning rubble. Evidence of Russian war crimes, substantial. Russian war dead and wounded total by many accounts more than 1 million, yet Russia's territorial gains are a fraction of what they imagined when they invaded in February 2022. Ukraine, though heavily battered, is willing to fight on, but the prospect of ejecting the Russian army, always dim, has grown a bit more bleak in this, the fourth winter of war. That, then, is the backdrop for an aggressive White House push to end this conflict. The Ukrainians are managing to absorb that pressure as best they can and have redrafted quite probably with the assistance of Secretary of State Marco Rubio, what was presented to them last week. And this morning dawned with a U.S. official saying the Ukrainians had signed on to a deal. Then the White House said not quite, that there were delicate details, that's a quote, still to be worked out. Late this afternoon.
Let's make sure we're hitting that like button, guys. We have a streaming like goal of 100 likes. We're at 23 likes. So I believe we would need, what, 77 more likes. So let's go ahead and hit that like button. And let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. If you're just now joining us in the chat, hit that notification bell as well.
Afternoon, the president posted on social media that negotiations with Moscow and Kyiv were intensifying. And with that, the very real possibility of an agreement sufficiently detailed to warrant a summit of some kind between Trump, Russian President Putin, and Ukrainian President Zelensky. Moscow today, though, has been largely silent, a potentially ominous sign. This initiative, in other words, could smash metaphorically on the rocks of Russian.
I lost $50,000.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. We got a quick commercial break. So while we're on this commercial break, make sure you hit that like button. We need about 76 more likes. That's going to get us to 100 likes. We're currently at 24 likes right now, and we have a subscriber goal of 900 subscribers as well. We're currently at 888. We need about 12 more subscribers. That's going to get us to 900. Let's go.
But the White House is pressing. What is unclear is how hard and in how many directions. Kyiv has felt the pressure. Is Moscow? Joining us now from the White House, Jennifer Jacobs. Jennifer, this story moves by the hour. What can you tell us?
The president is telling us tonight that there are very few disagreements that are still in place, that there is positive forward movement, that they haven't fully reached everything, but that they are working on a final plan. So the president is dispatching one top advisor over to Moscow to go meet with President Putin over in Moscow, and that's Steve Witkoff, his special envoy, Steve Witkoff. And then he's sending another advisor, Dan Driscoll, that's the Secretary of the Army, who's a good friend of J.D. Vance. They went to Yale Law School together. Dan Driscoll is Secretary of the Army, a very insider advisor to this White House. So they're sending him to go meet with the Ukrainians, and that's where the latest is on that front.
And the point about Moscow's relative silence today should be considered seriously, in that if Moscow doesn't agree and the Ukrainians do, we still don't have a deal.
Right. So Steve Witkoff is the most inner circle of them all. The president has signaled today that the people who are key advisors to this are the Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, J.D. Vance, and then you've got Marco Rubio. Now, the Ukrainians would like to send President Zelensky here to meet with President Trump, including this week during the Thanksgiving holidays. The president is telling us tonight that he doesn't want to do that. Zelensky wants to have a face-to-face with President Trump to make sure that this deal isn't too slanted. And the president is saying absolutely not meeting with with Putin or Zelensky until you guys have a final deal to end this war.
Jennifer Jacobs, North Lawn of the White House, thank you so very much. Joining me now, former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, William Taylor. Ambassador Taylor, you've been with us many times. Help my audience understand where we are right now, how to read the various tea leaves and representations going on.
Peter, I think you've said it out right. That is, the Americans and the Ukrainians and the Europeans and probably the Brits seem to be aligned. Okay. They seem to be on board with this new proposal. This is a rejection of that 28-point proposal that was clearly written by the Russians and leaked by the Russians.
And lopsidedly advantageous.
Lopsidedly advantageous to the Russians. Zero surprise. So this one is much better. It took input, and I think you said it right, Secretary Rubio, National Security Advisor Rubio, pulled in input from the Ukrainians for the first time, seriously, and the Europeans. And it's come up with a shorter, smaller one, 18 or 19 points that are much better focused and much more likely to succeed.
So this 28 plan, advantageous to the Russians, was done in cooperation with Steve Witkoff and the Russian government. Steve Witkoff's going back to Moscow. What does that mean?
One hopes that Secretary Rubio has been able to corral the various pieces, and one hopes that both Witkoff and Driscoll, the Army Secretary, are now on board with this 19-point proposal, and that Witkoff is taking that 19-point proposal that's almost agreed by the Ukrainians and supported by the Europeans to Moscow to see if he can get. I hope he'll be pushing his buddy Putin to agree.
And it's clear to you, Ambassador Taylor, that what the Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, we should remind ourselves Marco Rubio has both jobs, achieved here is not done freelancing. He is not working outside of the authority of the president. The president is clearly okay with it because this is where the negotiations now stand. So that revision, engineered quite probably by the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State, has to be at some level reflective of what Trump is okay with.
I would assume so, too.
And Putin better assume that.
And Putin should assume that as well. And I'm sure that Witkoff will make that clear to Putin.
Okay.
So let me ask you guys in the chat, because I want you guys to participate too. I don't want us just watching this and taking this in and, just listening to everything that they say. Do you think that President Trump is going to end the Ukrainian-Russian war? Do you think that he's going to be the one to pull that off? And if so, put a 1 in the chat. Let me know if you think that he's going to be the president to pull that off. And also, I think I'm going to lower the goal as well. So we're at 26 likes. So we're going to need about 24 more likes to get us to 50 likes, ladies and gentlemen. So we're at 26 likes right now. So if we can get to 50 likes, I would appreciate that. So we need about 24 more likes. But yeah, let me know. Salute to XL Pro in the building. Let me know. Do you think that President Trump is going to end the war? I think that he definitely has the ability to do it. I definitely think that he has the backbone to be able to do it. I think that, you have to be able to make a deal. And I think that, that's one of the strong suits of the president is that, he's always about a deal. You got to win some, you got to lose some. But in the end, everybody comes out good in the end, and let's be honest, anything that could stop Ukraine from being torn to shreds is going to be a win for Ukraine, because let's be honest, they try to make it seem, every few months like Russia is getting their asses handed to them. It's not true. It's absolutely not true. I can't tell you how many behind the scenes on the ground videos I've seen on different websites, whether that be on Rumble, whether that be on X, whether that be on random websites. Ukraine is getting their asses handed to them left and right. I mean, Russia is just having a field day. So I think that, the sooner that Ukraine, can take a deal, I think that, the better it's going to be for everybody. And, obviously the main reason for Russia attacking Ukraine is because, of NATO. Is because Ukraine, the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO, and Russia is not going to have that. And Russia, if it can, Russia wants to be the Soviet. Russia is going to make sure that they can maintain as much of the Soviet land as possible. That's what this is all about. And of course, it's about money. Of course, there's a lot of money laundering and stuff going on. We all know that Biden and his son had, ties to Ukraine, things of that nature. This is why so much money was given to them. I'm going to jump out and I'm going to say there probably is some criminal money laundering going on for sure. But ladies and gentlemen, we need about 22 more likes. That's going to get us to 50 likes. We're at 28 likes right now. It's going to get us to 50 likes. and we need 11 more subscribers. That's going to get us to 900 subscribers. So if we get 11 more subscribers, that would be great. And hit that notification bell as you subscribe to the channel. And again, in the chat, let me know if you think that President Trump is going to be the one to end the war. Let's go.
This is the proposal. And can you sign on?
Do you, based on your interactions with the Russians, have any expectation that we're going to get a definitive answer anytime soon?
No. Putin is not interested in this. He's not interested in ending this war.
And he's interested in playing for time, as he always has been.
He's playing for time. He grinds through both Russian soldiers as well as the front line, making little progress, very little progress, losing 1,000 soldiers a day. But he doesn't care about that. He is after Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. And the president raised the prospect of, if this deal is sufficiently detailed and finalized, we might have all three of them together. That certainly sounds aspirational at this moment.
Sounds aspirational.
And you know what? I'm gonna blame the Democrats on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and jump out. And the funny thing is, I say that I'm not against the Democrats. I'm not against the Republicans. But I have no choice but to go in on the Democrats, because if the Democrats were such crybabies in 2020 that this is what happens. And so if we go back to 2016, if you notice, none of this Ukraine-Russia stuff was going on. It wouldn't have been able to happen in Trump's first term. But the Democrats and the liberals in this United States of America, got in their crybaby feelings, and a pandemic happened, and they tried to find a way to put it on President Trump. And, the next thing you know, we have an insurrection. But to be honest, I'm going to go ahead and put the Ukraine-Russia war on the Democrats, because this would have never happened if Trump would have, President Trump's full term would have been over by now. Maybe there would actually be a Democrat in office right now, if it wasn't for the crybaby Democrats and everybody getting in their feelings, and everybody that voted for Trump the first time folding under pressure because the Democrats, were whining about how MAGA and Trump, they're such bad people, and, this country's, So yeah, this is the Democrats' fault, because Biden was weak, Kamala was weak, the Democrats are weak, because all they want to do is wear pink and purple hair and send drag queens in our schools to read to our children. So this is the Democrats' fault. So I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy, Democrats. This is your fault. Hit the like button.
The Europeans are going to be interested in that kind of a meeting. Europeans will like to join that. They would like to be there too. They've got a lot at stake.
And speaking of Democrats, I'm guessing we have one in the chat. So we have Michelle_says in the chat. She said that she's unsubscribed. Oh well. You're unsubscribed. Oh well. Okay. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas if you celebrate that. Happy New Year to you. Okay. Thank you for unsubscribing. Okay, go and subscribe to your liberal people that you watch on YouTube just because you disagree with what I'm saying and you don't have the capability to be objective like I do. See, the thing about me is that once I learn information, once I learn credible, valid information, I don't have a problem taking that in. But we have people like Michelle here who have a problem with being able to be objective in the chat and taking in information and listening. This is the problem with America. America is soft now. You can't say anything without somebody saying, "Oh, it hurt my feelings," or "Oh, you're racist," or "Oh, you're a hate person," or "Oh, you're a MAGA person," or "You're, this, that, and the third." You can't say what the reality of it is anymore because, everybody's in a delusion now. Everybody's in a delusion now. And for people that are regulars at this channel, like I said, I'm not for the Republicans. I'm not for the Democrats. I did vote for Trump because I thought that he was the best option. And my primary interest in this country is national security. I don't think Biden is good for our national security. I don't think Kamala is good for our national security. I don't think Hillary Clinton is good for our national security. That is my opinion. It doesn't have to be yours. You can disagree and still be a subscriber to this channel. But clearly a person like Michelle isn't mature enough to sit here and listen to me give my point of view, my opinion, and still stay a subscriber. And that's the problem with America. And this is why America is just going down the toilet. Please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Thank you.
They've got
Matter of fact, let's make Michelle mad. Let's make Michelle mad. Let's show Michelle that America's still a great place. Let's show Michelle that we have the freedom of speech over here, whether you agree or disagree. Let's get us to 50 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make the haters mad. Let's piss the haters off. Let's get us to 50 likes. We're at 32 likes. Let's piss the haters off like Michelle, who's sitting here secretly watching my channel and got all in her feelings. And she got so much in her feelings that she had to put that she unsubscribed in the chat. That's how much in her feelings that she got. So let's go ahead and make the haters mad. Let's go ahead and make all of the people that wear blue hair mad, that wear pink hair mad, that are comfortable. Let's go ahead and make all the people that are comfortable with the pride flag mad. Let's go ahead and make all of those people mad by hitting the like button and hit the subscribe button. Let's show Michelle that we can still be a good channel, a good chat, a good country. You can agree with me or disagree with me, and we can still be cool. Let's go ahead and show that. Let's go ahead and make Michelle look like a fool over here. We need 50 likes, ladies and gentlemen.
A lot of state. They're paying a lot of the bills. Their security is right on the line. If the Russians keep coming, they're threatened. So the Europeans would like to be there. They've got strong views about this.
Let's go back to a record you and I play frequently on the show, which is the what about sanctions against Russia record? It's still there. It's ready to be, the needle can be laid right upon it by the President of the United States. Is that still part of the backdrop for the conversations Witkoff has to have with Putin?
It has to be. It has to be. There needs to be pressure on Putin. Right now, there's not. There's some pressure. I mean, the president, to his credit, put the sanctions on the top two Russian oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil. And
here's the thing. Daryl Alexander 189 says, I don't hate gays, but I'll hit the like button anyway. See, here's the thing. I don't hate gay people either. I don't hate gay people. As a matter of fact, there was a couple live streams ago where I said that I disagree with a lot of the rainbow community views. I disagree with the pride flag being put in classrooms, but you're going to take the Pledge of Allegiance out of classrooms because it says one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So my thing is that if you're going to take the Pledge of Allegiance out of these schools, then take the pride flag away as well. I have no problem with gay people. If you're gay, be gay. That's who you are. I have no problem with you. But when you try to force your ideologies on America, when you try to force your ideologies on children that don't even know, what they had for breakfast, that don't even know what's going on really, then yes, I have a problem with that. When you get upset because things don't go your way, I have a problem with that. When you get upset because men want to see masculinity rule again, I have a problem with that. When you get upset because a father is saying, I don't want my son to wear a dress, I have a problem with that. So no, I don't have a problem with people that live in an alternative lifestyle. There are people that live in an alternative lifestyle that watch my channel, that are subscribed to my channel, that hit the like button. I have no problem with you. You, that's your life to live. That's your life. It's not my life, because I'm going to live my life the way that I want to. As a matter of fact, I'll go even further. I have family that's in that community. And I love them the same as I always have, even if I disagree with their lifestyle, because I knew them before they knew what they were into. I knew them before they even knew what they were into. And you know, people that, you know, people that condone, you know, hate crimes and violence against people in that community, I vehemently disagree with that. I disagree with that. I don't think anyone should be violent, you know, have any type of violence against them because they live an alternative lifestyle. I disagree with that. The same way that I disagree about, you know, a violent act being committed against someone who is not of that lifestyle. I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. But if they want to get married, if they call them, which in my personal opinion, I don't care if the United States government recognizes it or not. To me, that's not a marriage because it's not godly. It's not God. A man and a man being together is not godly. A woman and a woman being together is not godly. Now, do I like seeing a woman and a woman together? I'm not answering that question. I'm not answering that question because that's none of your business. But either way, it's not godly. And I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. Okay? I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. And I know that people that watch my live streams are not perfect either. Somebody says, bro, answer the question. Answer the question for real. What question? And listen, right? Here's the thing too. Here's the thing about people in the rainbow community. You know why I don't hate them? The main reason why I don't hate them is because in my personal opinion, most of the people that are in that community, whether you're male or female, they did not end up in that community by themselves. They had help getting in that community. They had help becoming what they are. And I understand that when you're a young child or a young person, that when things happen to you, it could be very difficult for you to get past, and it could alter the way that you are. So when something unnatural happens to you, it could make you become unnatural. Just like when soldiers go to war and they come back and they have PSD. That's unnatural. It's literally the same thing. And in my personal opinion, it's not talked about enough. Yeah, all of your celebrities, Missy Elliott, Tyler Perry, Queen Latifah, you know, hell, even Lady Gaga. Did I say PSD? I'm sorry, y'all. I got some vodka in my system. I meant PTSD. Sorry, I'm a little bit lit right now. Yeah, all of your celebrities who live an alternative lifestyle, are they down with an agenda? Are they promoting an agenda? Absolutely. But they had help getting Missy Elliott, Da Brat, Queen Latifah, Lady Gaga. They had help getting that way. Bro, it's 5:55 in the morning. You got vodka in your system. This is from earlier. This is from hours ago. I didn't just drink vodka right now. And I don't have to get up early in the morning if I don't want to. We need 50 likes, ladies and gentlemen. We're at 34 likes. We need 14 more likes. That's going to get us to 50 likes. Well, let's go ahead and finish this.
Provide a lot of the income, of the revenue.
And there are some data, I always confuse that, indicating some softening of the Russian economy, which is...
Salute to you, Aaron.
...is an underlying pressure point that Putin cannot ignore forever.
Absolutely right. It is softening. And the revenues, which is the key thing, you're trying to squeeze off revenues that the Russians get from the sale of oil and gas to fund the war. And if they can squeeze that down, that's more pressure on Putin. But it's in addition to the sanctions, you need the weapons. So President Trump, if he really wants to put pressure on Putin to come to the table, if Witkoff should have this in his pocket, can give the Ukrainians tomahawks.
Give my audience a way to process whatever comes at them in terms of headlines the next 48 hours.
Sorry about that. We got a quick commercial break. So let's go ahead and hit the like button. Let's go ahead and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Let's go.
Question is going to be, will President Trump meet with President Zelensky? Sounds like he's saying he wants to wait until this is farther down the line, that it's more cooked before he actually meets with him. But it is going to be very important to see what Witkoff puts pressure, what kind of pressure he puts on.
Meaning, what does Witkoff say in the aftermath of that meeting? And
salute to one of my top mods, the cynical one in the building. Hit that like button. Let's go.
What does Putin in Moscow say after that?
Exactly right.
Ambassador William Taylor, always brilliant. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Major.
Now let's go to CBS News reporter Erica Brown at the White House. Erica, what are we hearing from President Trump about the next steps for these peace talks?
Well, Lindsay, right now the White House is touting what they are calling tremendous progress towards this peace plan to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, but it is with what appears to be some measured and cautious optimism. Earlier today, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that there were still some delicate but not insurmountable details that still needed to be worked out with further talks between Ukraine, Russia, and the United States. And President Trump took to Truth Social saying that he was deploying top officials for those further talks, including a special envoy Steve Witkoff headed to Moscow to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin, and Army Secretary Dan Driscoll meeting with Ukrainian officials. And that comes after Secretary Driscoll also met with Russian officials, according to sources in Abu Dhabi. Now, as you noted earlier there, President Trump said that his original 28-point plan had been fine-tuned. That, of course, comes after it received some criticism from European officials and even some lawmakers here in Washington, pushing back on some of the concessions that Ukraine would be forced to make, including cutting the size of its military and abandoning efforts to join NATO. But the president said that that initial plan had been fine-tuned to include.
Hey, yo, as y'all checking in the live chat, let me know where y'all checking in from. Let me know if y'all in the United States. Let me know if you in the UK. Let me know if you in Australia, Africa, South America. Let me know where you checking in from and hit the like button.
Input from both sides. The president also said that he looks forward to meeting with Zelensky and Putin, but only after the deal has been finalized or when it's in its very final stages. Lindsay?
Erica Brown, thank you. President Trump wrote in part on Truth Social, quote, "Over the past week, my team has made tremendous progress with respect to ending the war between Russia and Ukraine." He adds the original 28-point peace plan, which was drafted by the United States, has been fine-tuned with additional input from both sides, and there are only a few remaining points of disagreement. While this is happening, Putin remains on the offensive. The Russian military launched strikes on the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv overnight, killing at least 7 people. Ian Bremmer joins us now. He's the president and founder of the Eurasia Group and G0 Media. Ian, thanks for being here. Is there anything different about this moment?
Well, you've had a lot of negotiations, but honestly, we're not much closer to a ceasefire because the Russians and the Americans can agree on a deal. The Ukrainians and the Americans can agree on a deal, but those deals...
We're at 40 likes, ladies and gentlemen. We need 10 more likes. That's going to get us to 50 likes. We need 10 more likes.
Don't overlap. They are not compatible. And Russia is not prepared to accept anything close to what the Ukrainians are capable of putting on the table.
Is there any pressure on Vladimir Putin to cut a deal right now? Hasn't his plan the whole time been to play the long game, try and break Ukraine down over time?
Yes and yes. That has been his plan, and there is pressure. There's been over 1 million Russian casualties in this war, and the war is certainly impacting.
That is insane. That is insane. 1 million Russian casualties. Like, that is insane. Like, for a senseless war. Like, well, I mean, it's senseless to me because, you know, I'm in the United States, but obviously it's not sensitive to President Putin. So, yeah. But I mean, this conflict started in what, 2022? Yeah, 1 million? And listen, guys, think about this, right? These are all cousins. These are brothers and sisters and cousins and brothers fighting. Like, I don't think people really get the notion, you know, they think it's just like 2 European countries fighting or whatever. But like, this is like really like kind of like a family war, you know. This is like North Carolina versus South Carolina. And, you know, like I said, anytime, you know, the media is trying to project and say that Ukraine is winning, it's not true. It is not true at all. At all. But ladies and gentlemen, we have 40 likes. We need 10 more likes. That's going to get us to our 50 like goal.
The economy, we are starting to see budgetary difficulties, growth slowing down, revenues really taking a hit. But this isn't going to prevent the Russians from feeling like they can continue to throw everything they have at the Ukrainians for the near to medium term future. I mean, I don't see in the next 1 to 2 years, unless the Ukrainians were capable of dramatically stepping up their attacks inside Russia with help from the United States, or the United States was willing to put sanctions that would really prevent the Russians from exporting oil. And while those two things have moved a bit in the next few weeks with help from President Trump, not enough that the Russians feel like they need to actually compromise in any way.
And you've said this more than likely will get resolved on the battlefield. Doesn't that put Ukraine at a disadvantage? Where does the fighting stand right now? Who has the advantage?
Yes, it does put the Ukrainians at a disadvantage, and most Ukrainians want to end the war, but they're not prepared to end the war completely on Russian terms, which is what the 28-point plan provided. The Ukrainians are losing territory. They're not losing territory quickly. A lot of civilians are getting killed by Russian targeting, and Ukraine is going to be relying on imports of energy this cold winter season because the Russians have blown up a lot of their electricity and heating capacity. That's where we are. This absolutely is worse for Ukraine and worse for, of course, the Russians fighting the longer it goes on. But you still need a deal that the Ukrainians are capable of accepting. And what the Russians are putting on the table is not meant for the Ukrainians to accept. What Putin is trying to do is to basically split the Americans from the Europeans. He wants to weaken NATO. He doesn't expect that the Ukrainians are going to accept anything he offers. That's not the intention of his negotiating strategy.
All right, Ian Bremmer, thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. We're going to let that play out right quick. Yeah, but yeah, man, that's insane. It's insane and it's sad. Like a million, you know. It's crazy. And you know, the funny thing about it is that, like, this is what, like I said, this is one thing that the Democrats really don't understand is everything's not about your gay rights. Everything's not about, you know, the lowest cost of whatever. Like, everything's not about, you know, pink and blue hair. Like, there are actual things that will affect you in the world if you don't have the right leader in place. And the funny thing is, everybody says, oh, President Trump is a dictator. Yeah. That's, I mean, compared to what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But for those of you who are unfamiliar, we did have a visit earlier this year in March from President Zelensky of Ukraine, and President Trump was there. Vice President J.D. Vance was there. Let's take a look at how that went.
On the deal. That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014
2014.
and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yeah. President Barack Obama was definitely soft on Russia, and President Putin definitely had his way with Ukraine when President Barack Obama was in office. Like I told you, Democrats are soft. They're soft. And, I've said many times, I know President Trump is not a likable person, but I like a not likable gangster person that is going to be in the White House that is willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that, America is respected and America's allies are respected as well. That's just how I feel about it. Kamala was weak. Barack Obama was weak. Joe Biden was weak. That's just how it is. Everything is not about diplomacy all the time. Okay. Sometimes you have to do what needs to be done. And that's one thing I respect about the current president that's in the White House right now.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Oh, big mistake.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
That.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering all
position
these
to
questions.
dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
Playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's back to you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
Look at that. That's some boss shit. That's some boss ass shit. Look at Trump putting him in his place. Joe Biden would have never been able to do that. Kamala would have never been able to do that. Barack would have never been able to do that because they soft and weak. And they only care about gay rights and illegal immigrants and, making sure poor people, are satisfied. And by the way, if you live in the United States of America, listen, we live in a country where you could get money. We live in a country where you could get money. So I'm sorry. Like, there are people that, that are going through unfortunate circumstances, but you need to apply yourself. You can do better. Salute the dirty folks in the building. Salute the dirty folks in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Let's go.
This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been alone.
In this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thanks.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment, and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have our military equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's
Guys, we're at 895 likes. We do have a 900 subscriber goal. So we need 5 more subscribers to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. We need 5 more likes to get to the 50 like goal for the stream. Let's go.
what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you'd take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
It doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what
That wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
Bullshit.
Heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
Man. This is what I'm talking about. This is real gangster shit right here. Real gangster shit right here. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Let's go.
Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff.
How the hell is Hunter Biden not in jail? How the hell is Hunter Biden not in jail? How the hell is Hillary Clinton not in jail? Did they ever, can someone answer this? Did they ever find those 600 classified deleted emails that Hillary said that she accidentally deleted? Did they ever find those emails? I don't know. I mean, all of a sudden it just went silent. All of a sudden no one's talking about the emails anymore. Salute to Missy T in the building. But I mean, you're the, you have a top position in this country, and all of a sudden, 600 classified emails, top secret emails, just, vanish out of thin air, and no one's talking about it. No jail time, no arrest, no nothing. Interesting.
All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television.
Somebody said that there was a presidential pardon. Did Hillary get pardoned? Y'all let me know. Y'all are my research crew. Did Hillary get a pardon? Let me know. I can't remember if she got a pardon or not.
I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks. I need the back of the chair. We'll see. I don't know. Guys, come on.
Right, witnessing there a playback conversation, the meeting with President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, very tense moments there inside of the Oval Office, going back and forth there, the Ukrainian president, the U.S. president, and also Vice President J.D. Vance. We are expecting later on today to have a joint news conference between both of those world leaders. Live Now look there in Washington, D.C. We'll see you back here after this break.
Okay, so someone is asking, when was this clip? So this clip was actually back in March of this year. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to play the new information first, and then I wanted to remind us of what happened earlier this year, because, you know, even though President Trump has been in the White House for less than a year, for 11 months, it seems like he's been in there 2 or 3 years already, because so much has been, you know, done in this past, 11 months. So, yeah, I wanted to take us back because, when that happened, that was a bombshell. So that happened in March earlier this year, ladies and gentlemen. And we did hit the like stream goal of 50. So if we can get to 75 likes, that would be great. And we need 3 more subscribers. Now, what we can do is we could keep playing some of the news stuff, or we could get to, the good part of the stream. Basically, the next part of the stream, is basically where we hang out. Y'all can say whatever y'all want in the chat. I'm going to read y'all comments. We can converse in the chat and all that, but we can keep watching, the boring Trump, Russia, Zelensky, or we could just kind of hang out and have fun. What y'all want to do, man? It's, it's the holidays. Plus, y'all never did answer my question, man. I asked y'all earlier, what y'all doing for the holidays? Y'all staying home or y'all traveling? Okay, because I know for me, I'm not going anywhere. I live on the West Coast. It's going to be in the 70s this week and in the weekend. So I'm not going anywhere. Like ain't no holiday season like a West Coast holiday season. I don't care about that New York snowing shit, that Times Square Christmas tree shit. I don't care about none of that. All right. I don't do the snow. I don't do ice. I like sunshine and desert. And I like short sleeve shirts, and I like shorts, and I like sun and vitamin D. I'm not with that skiing. I'm not with that snowboarding. I'm not with no snow, no ice, no being cold, no ugly sweaters. I don't like none of that. What y'all doing? Y'all traveling? Are y'all traveling now that the government's open back up? The airport's open back up. TSA is back working. What y'all doing? Y'all staying at home? Y'all traveling? You know what I'm saying? I ain't traveling. I probably might travel. I probably might travel next year. I have a couple places that I have to go next year. I'm supposed to be coming down there to Chicago. Supposed to be coming down to Chicago for an alleged wedding in the summertime, in June of all times. I'm supposed to be going to Chicago in June, supposedly. So I know I'll be going to Chicago next year. I'll probably be going a few other places. I may go to New York next year. Not sure. I may go to New York next year. Not sure. Because I know Zoran Mamdani is the new mayor over there in New York City. And we will be covering his inauguration here whenever that is. Let's take, you know what? Let's take a look at one more thing. Let's take a look at one more thing. Hold on, y'all. Let me get that set up here. Let's take a look at, because I know we had some more kind of breaking news, but not breaking news, but kind of breaking news. Let me see here. Oh, wrong button. Wrong button. You got to be careful when you're live streaming, because sometimes you hit the wrong thing and then you just delete everything. A couple streams ago, I messed around and I hit the wrong button and I deleted all the video. I deleted everything. I deleted all of that hard work. You know, just went to crap. Okay, so we did reach the subscriber goal of 900 subscribers. Can we get to 910? Can we get to 910 subscribers? Ladies and gentlemen, make sure when you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get the notification when I go live. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get the notification when I go live. But yeah, we have some other current news to catch up on here. And we at 58 likes. Can we get to 60 likes? We need 2 more likes. Can we get to 60 likes, ladies and gentlemen? Can we get to 60 likes? And can we get to 910 subscribers? Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost there. I know y'all know who that is. I know y'all know who that is.
Hi.
So for those of you that are not familiar, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has resigned from Congress because, in a nutshell, she bit the hand that fed her. You know, and, you know, from the way that I see it, like, I understand, you know, with this whole Epstein thing, the whole Epstein files, you know, we have a duty to the country to tell the truth and all that. But the school that I come from says, don't bite the hand that feeds you, that feeds you, you know, and she definitely bit the hand that fed her. But, and, you know, if you ask me, you know, people, I've had this conversation with people. If you ask me, I think that she's going to run for governor of Georgia. There's no coincidence that she is resigning effective January 5th, 2026. And the governorial, or however you say that, gubernatorial elections are in November of 2026. So if you ask me, I would say this. She's definitely playing politics at the highest levels. You know, people think that she's quitting because, you know, her feelings are hurt and she's afraid and people have been sending threats to her family and all this kind of stuff. No, people. No, she's absolutely playing politics at the highest level. I think that she's going to run for governor of Georgia in November. And here's the thing. The thing about it is, if you are a conservative, right? If you are a conservative politician running for president, Georgia is a state that you need to win. Georgia is a state that you need to win. So this will put her somewhat in a God complex, right? Because everybody that is going to be running for president that's, you know, a part of the GOP, they're going to have to come through Georgia in order to win the election. But let's hear what she had to say.
Everyone, I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C. and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies, because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives.
Did you know that nearly half of U.S. TV...
Yeah, so sorry about that. We have a quick commercial break, but let's go ahead and hit the like button and also hit that subscribe button. I think we need 9 more subscribers to get us to 910 subscribers. So if you're just now joining the chat, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button. Let's go.
Down in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass the plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to...
Can you guys believe that we've been a nation? Let me see here. We've been a nation for 249 years. Can you believe that in this 249-year history, that I think it was literally in 2024 that English has been designated the official language of the United States? Can you guys believe that? That is absolutely insane. We've been a nation for 249 years, and as of 2024, English is just now becoming the nation's official language. That is absolutely insane.
Medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of...
Now, one thing I will definitely say, I definitely appreciate Marjorie Taylor Greene's work standing up to the trans movement in America, because I definitely do not agree with children, being able to be going through these trans procedures, young boys into girls and girls into boys. Now, if you're an adult, that's one thing. You could, if you want to chop your boobs off when you're an adult, that's one thing. Go ahead. You want to chop your penis off when, you're a young adult, or I'm sorry, a legal adult, that's fine. But a child, no, I definitely don't agree. I could definitely say that she's been outspoken on that issue. So that's one thing that I can appreciate from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas. Just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most men.
Somebody says in the chat, maybe just let the parents, psychologists, and no. If what is it? The age of consent. If the age of consent in most states is what, 17, 16, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's the age of consent in, as far as in certain states, right? If you cannot have sex legally before a certain age, you should not be able to go through any type of trans procedure before a certain age. Like, that is absolutely insane. Somebody says, you worry about your child, I'll worry about mine. Absolutely. You can worry about your child, but that's not gonna stop me from speaking out, from saying that I disagree with children going through trans procedures and taking hormone pills and all of this kind of stuff to be the opposite sex. I'm not going to agree with that. I don't care. I'm never going to agree with that. You can have a problem with that. You can come in my chat. You can curse me out. You can say you don't believe in God. You can say I'm going to hell. I do not agree with that, and I'm never going to agree with that. Now, if you're an adult and that's something that you want to do, by all means, go ahead. I don't care. Live your life. Just like I said, if you're an adult, you want to be gay, fine. Go ahead and do that. That has nothing to do with me. But if you're a child, you're being influenced. The public school system is pushing a certain agenda on you. They want to take the Pledge of Allegiance out of schools because it says, I pledge allegiance to the flag under God, all that. No, if you're going to take the Pledge of Allegiance out, then take the flag out as well. We're not going to have you take the Pledge of Allegiance out and leave that colorful flag in the school. It's not going to happen. Not as long as I have a microphone. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And like I said earlier, these young people that have all of these problems, they didn't just wake up one day and decide that they want to be, have an alternative lifestyle. No, they had help illegally by an adult. They were abused inappropriately by an adult. They had unnatural things happen to them by an adult, which made them the way that they are, which help to play a part. Yeah, all of your celebrities that are, that live an alternative lifestyle, Queen Latifah, Missy Elliott, The Brat, Lady Gaga, Madonna, all of your celebrities that live an alternative lifestyle, they didn't choose to be that way. They just got taken in to be a part of that agenda because they had help becoming how they are. Somebody says in the chat, there's no agenda. Okay, all right. You can keep thinking that if you want to. You can keep thinking that if you want to. Somebody says this is hilarious. I'm glad you think it's hilarious. That means I'm doing my job. But we're at 60 likes. Can we get to 70 likes? Can we get to 70 likes? Ladies and gentlemen. Somebody says, this is a right-wing grift speech. You're not a serious person. Okay, well, if you think I'm not, then that's your opinion. That's fine. That's fine. Unicorn Mullet says, I don't think that. I know there is no agenda. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, if you don't think the fact that grown ass men can actually go into women's restrooms and locker rooms with little girls and women in there with their and have their penises out in there, and still identify as a woman, then and there's no agenda. Okay, well, I guess there's no agenda. But when I was growing up, which actually wasn't that long ago, yeah, that was illegal. You would have never been able to get away with something like that in the 90s. Men going in the women's restroom, women going in the men's restroom. But women going in the men's restroom is not really that big of a deal. Men don't really care. But when you have little girls, privacy being invaded, to me, that's a problem. That's a problem. Because I have 2 daughters, and that's a problem. Somebody says, Unicorn Mullet says, I'm a woman. I use the men's restroom. Yeah. See, here's the thing. Women can walk in the men's restroom and it's perfect. Like we're not going to care. Men are different. We would just look at a woman and just be like, oh, there's a woman in here. Like, but it's different when you have a grown ass man on testosterone, muscles, 3 or 4 times more, stronger than a woman. And there's probably little girls or teenage women. The strength of a man and a woman, it doesn't compare. It's not the same. So if you're a woman and you use the men's restroom all the time, then whoop-de-doo, congratulations to you. But you're just part of the problem. That's all. Yeah, even our young boys are not safe in public restrooms. Again, how do you think that things happen to children, and then they become the way that they are? They become, they go and, have one, cause one of these massive tragedies at a school, or they grow up with psychological problems, confused about their sexuality because something happened in their childhood that made them that way. Unicorn Melt, just because you think it's not a serious problem, it doesn't mean that other people don't think it's a serious problem. Unicorn Melt says the argument is about as ridiculous as someone saying gays are recruited. There's a thing called college and universities. What do you think happens in dorm rooms, colleges and universities? It's a recruiting ground. President Carlos says, hello, I'm trans and you have problems for making your own stories. First of all, if you're going to address me, make your comment make sense. Sebastian says, let's say your child is trans. What's wrong with waiting until they're 18? For me, first of all, I hope that never happens to any of my children. Second of all, if they're 18, they can do what the fuck they want to do. I'm not one of these parents that's, you raise your child, they turn 18, you can go off to war. So the way I see it is that when you turn 18, you can do what the hell you want to do. Now, hopefully you follow what your mother and your father taught you. Hopefully you take that game in and you apply it the right way. But child turns 18, there's nothing you could do. They do what they want to do. Somebody said you bussies scared of trans. For me personally, I'm not scared of trans. I don't have a phobia of trans at all. I just have a problem with people going in the wrong restrooms. Plus, I live in a state where there's high sex trafficking as well. And there are videos on YouTube, videos on Facebook, videos on X where women are going in women's restrooms and trying to snatch children out of women's restrooms, trying to snatch little girls out of women's restrooms to put them into trafficking. Somebody says I'm paranoid. Absolutely, I'm paranoid. At least I think they talk to me. And see, here's the thing too, right? Whatever kind of weird, freaky stuff people do in their bedrooms, adult people, I don't give a shit. You can do whatever you want to do in your bedrooms. I don't care. I'm not one of these people that be judging about what grown adults do in their bedrooms. I'm just talking about decency out in public. I'm only 37. In the 90s, in the early 2000s, when I was growing up, none of this shit was happening. None of this shit was happening. Now here I am, an adult, and it's like, okay, they try to tell me a man is a woman and a woman is a man. Guys, can we get to 75 likes? We're at 73 likes. Can we get 2 more likes? Can we get 8 more subscriptions? Can we get 2 more likes? And 8 more subscriptions. All right, let's catch up on this video.
Members of Congress bills, the Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years, they actually do their own grocery shopping and no food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their Visa holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big 6-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my
Salute to Queen Brielle in the morning, in the chat in the morning. Please make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe. Can we get to 80 likes? We're at 75 likes. We're at 75 likes. Can we get 7 more subscriptions? That's going to put us at 910.
campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God who created everything in existence.
See, Marjorie, that's where I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Your self-worth is determined by a man. Okay? Because if you're a married woman, then you're supposed to submit to your husband. God, man, woman, child. And so, I disagree with that statement. You bit the hand that fed you, and this is now you have to pay the consequence. You have to pay the consequence. You have to step down because you bit the hand that fed you. You can't talk about loyalty should be a two-way street when you go against the hand that fed you. Okay? Yeah, we want to see the Epstein file? Everybody want to know what's in those files. We all want to know. All right? Everybody that's in those files should be indicted. I definitely agree with that. They need to be indicted. They need to be questioned on the stand. We need answers. But at the end of the day, you don't go against the hand that feeds you. Okay? And I disagree with that feminist bullshit that you just said because your worth is determined by a man because you are a married woman. Okay? So all you married women that say that dumb shit, your worth is determined by a man. And if you don't think that your worth is determined by a man, then I think that your husband should divorce you. Simple and plain. I'm not with all this sweet candy cane. Women can say anything that they want to say and there'll be no consequences. No, you're a married woman and you need to act like it. You shouldn't have been in politics in the first place, if you ask me. But now you want to come up here and talk this feminist bullshit because you was disloyal, you went against the grain, you bit the hand that fed you. Now you got to resign. But I will give it to her. She's playing politics at the highest level because if you ask me, like I said, I think that she's going to run for governor of Georgia in November because it's no coincidence that she's stepping down January 5th. And the governor election is November of 2026. It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Let's see, my brother, you sound a little bit confused. You never put down what God does in a person's life and stop dictated by man. That's dictated by God. I mean, myself, I don't that's not the way that it worked. She's a married woman. So that the statement that she made where she said that her worth is not dictated by a man is false. I think any married woman or even a woman that's in a relationship making a statement by that, because here's the thing. If you're not abiding by what God says, the instructions that's given to your husband by God, and your husband is instructing you, that's disrespect. That's disrespect. That was a disrespectful statement. Okay, I can't speak for y'all in the chat, but if my lady made a statement like that, I would have a problem. I would have a problem. If you claim you're a God-fearing person, you don't have a connection with God the way that you should if you're not connected with your husband. And that's a problem with a lot of you people in the chat that's been disagreeing with what I'm saying. And notice, I let y'all disagree in the chat. I let y'all rock in the chat because I'm an objective person. But I can tell y'all don't believe in God. Y'all don't have no kind of morals. Y'all are some worldly ass people. Y'all don't have no code of ethics. Y'all don't have any kind of godly laws that you live by. So yeah, this is a married woman making this statement and I'm calling it out. I disagree with that shit. You wanted to go in politics with the sharks and you got ate. Simple and plain. You can't hang with the big dogs. That's why you got to resign. Look at all these crybabies in here, just crying and whining because I'm giving my opinion on this shit. And notice I'm letting y'all rock because you're entitled to your opinion. The primary reason that I have a channel is for the chat. I want people from all over the world to come in here and rock with your boy. Unicorn Mullet, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sick and tired of you. Your opinion doesn't matter. So guess what? I'm going to give you a 24-hour timeout. I was going to give you 30 minutes, but nah. I'm sick and tired of your disrespect. Have a good day, ma'am or sir, whatever you are. Can we get to 85 likes? We're at 80 likes.
You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility.
I agree with that. I believe in term limits as well.
My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women.
I agree with that as well.
With that has brought years of non-stop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family. But it's
Listen, spoken bones, or the mullet person or whatever. You can have as many accounts as you can have. You can have 15 million accounts. You can come back in this chat as many times as you want. I'm just going to ban all your accounts until you run out of accounts. So you can create as many accounts as you want to. I don't care. All I got to do is take my finger and block your ass. That's all I got to do. Simple work, easy work.
It's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much. And I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars.
Let's see. Live Kami says, why are people in the chat if his opinion doesn't matter? It's his YouTube. Yeah, it's definitely my YouTube. It's definitely my, but see, here's the thing. And see, listen, anybody that's been a repeat viewer over here at Zone 864 TV, I'm an objective person, so I don't mind people disagreeing with me. If I say something wrong and somebody wants to put some information in the chat to educate me, that's perfectly fine because that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to just be high and mighty. I'm here to connect with you, the people. This is the late night, early morning hangout spot. You could be a believer in God or you could be an atheist. You could be a straight person or you could be a gay person in my chat. It doesn't matter to me. The only thing I ask is to be respectful. And if you have a disagreement, to disagree respectfully. There's no need for name calling and all that kind of stuff, because I could go back and forth with you as well. I could call you names and all of that kind of stuff as well. But this is a place where we can come and get to know each other and have a conversation. There's not many chat rooms like this on YouTube, because a lot of these YouTubers, they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and they just do their content. They never really engage with the chat. I'm a people person sometimes. And I want everybody, whether you're in the States, you're in Africa, Australia, the UK, again, I want you here. But obviously, you know, if you're getting on my nerves and you're trying to be respectful and you keep trying to argue with me that you think that men should be able to go in women's restrooms and, you know, it's gonna be a problem when you're being disrespectful. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the late night, early morning hangout spot. Somebody said a people pleaser. I'm not a people pleaser. I'm a people person. There's a difference. I'm not trying to please anyone. If I was, I would be sucking up to Barack Obama and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And I would be talking about how bad MAGA is and how Trump is ruining everything, because that's what people want to hear. But that's not what I think. That's not what I believe. I would probably have more people in the chat. Can we get to 85 likes? We're at 80 likes.
Against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never, ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead.
Okay, we really don't care, Marjorie. Like I said, you bit the hand that fed you. You know, you wanted to get in politics and play with the big dogs, and you failed. Okay, but she could be successful. Okay, I'm pretty sure that she's gonna run for governor of Georgia. And like I said, if you're a conservative, if you're a Republican, part of the grand old party, Georgia is a state that you need to win. So I think that she is, like I said, playing politics at the highest level. You know, she has her little Becky tears going and, you know, trying to make it seem like she's being, womanized and all of this kind of stuff. But sorry, it's not working. It's not working for me. Now we can end the stream or we could go for a few more minutes. What do you guys want to do? It's the holidays. I know a lot of y'all off work. A lot of y'all should be off work. A lot of y'all should be traveling. I'm not traveling anywhere. I'm on the West Coast. There's nothing like a holiday season on the West Coast. I'm sorry. And I'm from the East Coast. I'm from the East Coast. Okay. But there's nothing like a holiday season on the West Coast. It's going to be in the 70s all week here. Connie, are you telling me to shut up? I hope you're not telling me to shut up. Connie Moore, are you telling me to shut up? I hope you're not telling me to shut up. Why are you telling me to shut up? Because to me, this is the favorite part of the stream right here. We done got through all the content. You know, we done got to watch it. We done watching Ukraine, Russia. And listen, ladies, I know sometimes I can be a little bit rough around the edges, but you might find yourself a good boyfriend or husband in here. Fellas, you might find yourself a good girlfriend or wife in here. You know, and if you're into that alternative lifestyle as well, maybe you might find you a little, you know, something in here too. I ain't hating. I ain't discriminating. It is what it is. Like, just because I have my opinions on something, it doesn't mean that I'm just like, I just hate you and, you know, all of this kind of stuff. No, that's not me. People got to live their own life. You feel what I'm saying? People got to live their own life. We got Seattle in the building. Let me know where y'all checking in from. Let me know what state, what countries y'all checking in from. This is the intimate part of the show. I'm looking at everybody's comments. We got Callie in the building. Y'all might not like my political. We got Florida in the building. You might not like my political commentary, you know, and my views on things, but this is a different part of the show. This is the personal part of the show. We done, you know, kind of with all that political stuff. This is what I mean when, you know, I say I rock with Republicans and Democrats, because after we done talking politics for the day, now we can talk on a personal level. You know what I mean? Now we can find out more about each other. Got Florida in the building, Cali in the building. You know. We got Alabama in the building. Well, let me take a look here. Let me see. So I know this looks a little bit crazy, but on the screen right here, we have a 71-year-old man in some country in Africa. I can't even pronounce that. And he has an extreme fear of women. In fact, his fear of women is so extreme that he spent 55 years living in solitude. I guess the fear of women is called gynophobia. The fear of women is called gynophobia. He's so afraid of women that he spent 55 years living in solitude. How do you how do you not get pussy? Like, how do you not like pussy? Like, how do you not like titties? How do you not like women? I don't get that. We got Cleveland in the building. Yeah, this is a 71-year-old man who spent 55 years in solitude. At age 16, he built a tall fence around his home and cut off all contact to avoid panic and anxiety around women. Neighbors leave him food and water from a distance as he refuses to let women approach. His case has drawn global attention for showing how deep his fear and untreated mental health issues can isolate a person from a world. Somebody's asking me, am I a Trump supporter? I'm a Trump voter. Let me know, like, would y'all ever do that? Would y'all ever? For me, I can't isolate myself from women. Now I could be alone and I could do my thing and I can focus, but I'm not about to isolate myself from no woman. I don't give a damn. That's insane though. So listen, so I'm planning on going to China, sometime in the future, and I've been trying to practice my Mandarin. I've been trying to practice a different language. So this lady is about to teach us some words. She's about to teach us some words here in a different language.
Say, let me hit that in Chinese. 让我打那个，让我打那个。
You don't want that nigga. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did you? Look, I'm sorry. Let me wait. Wait. I don't want that nigga. I might have to play it back, but I think she's. I want that.
How do you say, let me hit that in Chinese? 让我打那个，让我打那个。
You don't want that nigga. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did you? Look, I'm sorry. Let me wait. Wait. I don't want that nigga. I might have to play it back, but I think she's. I want that.
Yeah. So I was a little bit concerned. You know what I mean? Because it did sound like. It did sound like, she said the N-word. Y'all, did it sound like that to y'all? Hold on, let me let y'all hear that one more time. Hold on.
I might have to play it back, but I think she's. I want that.
How do you say, let me hit that in Chinese? 让我打那个，让我打那个。
You don't want.
Yeah. That sounds a little bit too close. You know what I mean? That sounds a little bit too close to that word. You feel me? I know it's a lot of words, that sound kind of crazy in the Mandarin language. So yeah, we just gonna move past that, y'all. All right, we just gonna move past that. This next clip is we're gonna take a look at when drinking and driving laws were introduced in the United States in the 80s. Check this out.
To restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be communist country.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be communist country.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And
they're making the laws where you can't drink if you want to. You gotta wear your seatbelt when you're driving. Man, shout out to the country folks. The country corn. That's so crazy, man. Listen, I'm 37, so that means that these laws came across. They were just created when I was born. I was born in 1988. So that means before the 1980s, you could actually drink and drive in this country. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that something? Ain't that something? That is absolutely insane. There used to be a point in time in this country, in America, where you could drink and drive and there would be no consequence. So this next clip, we're going to take in some nutritional information. You know, we're going to take in some nutritional information. And I think it's quite interesting to listen to. Let's take a listen.
Who ate breakfast this morning needs to hear this. Eating 3 meals a day was created by the Rockefeller Foundation. Our ancestors didn't eat 3 times a day. If they ate 3 times a week, that was a lot. Your body is meant to be in a fasted state. Why do you heal when you sleep? Because you're fasted. Your body's able to take the energy that it normally would use, breaking down and digesting food, and instead it's putting it towards healing and feeling sick. Don't go to the white coat who has no idea what he's talking about. Throw a 36-hour fast at it. Stem cells are activated. They go to the area of injury. They go to the areas that need healing. Your body thrives in a fasted state. Don't buy into the 3 meals a day. It was created to keep you fat, lazy, and reliant on the Rockefeller food system. Never should obesity be installed. Everyone who ate breakfast this morning needs to hear this. Eating 3 meals a day was created by the Rockefeller Foundation. Our ancestors didn't eat 3 times a day. If they ate 3 times a week, that was a lot. Your body is meant to be in a fasted state. Why do you heal when you sleep? Because you're fasted. Your body's able to take the energy that it normally would use, breaking down and digesting food, and instead it's putting it towards healing and feeling sick. Don't go to the white coat who has no idea what he's talking about. Throw a 36-hour fast at it. Stem cells are activated. They go to the area of injury. They go to the areas that need healing. Your body thrives in a fasted state. Don't buy into the 3 meals a day. It was created to keep.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So, I definitely agree with that. You know, especially if you're an adult, especially if you're pushing 40. You know, this is not medical advice. It's not medical advice. This is just me sharing content. You should definitely watch how much you eat. You know, like I said, especially if you're pushing 40, your metabolism's slowing down. It's easier for you to gain weight. You know, I myself, oftentimes, you know, I'll have a cup of tea in the morning, cup of tea or a cup of coffee in the morning, and then I'll just go about my day. You know, me personally, I haven't eaten 3 meals a day in years. I haven't eaten 3 meals a day in probably maybe 15 years. Yeah, I probably, you know, I probably, depending on the level of physical activity I'm doing, you know, I'll probably eat twice a day. Missy B in the chat says she eats once a day. Yeah, most days I eat once a day. But I'm going to be honest too, like, you know, and not to get too graphic, but, you know, hopefully most of us are adults here. You know, I took the kids thing off in the settings. I put that on. So hopefully it's mostly adults here. But if you're a man, right, you definitely, unless you like an NFL player or, you know, you're somebody that moves a lot, you should not be eating 3 times a day at all. Because the more weight you gain, the less your dick works. The less you eat, the more your dick works. The more you eat, the less your dick works. How do I know this? Because the more you eat, it takes more blood flow for your body to actually process the food that you eat. So if you're a guy like me, I only have tea in the morning or I only have coffee in the morning, you know, I'm getting my metabolism started like early in the day, and I'm drinking water, you know, and I'm walking. So my blood flow, you know, from my brain to the bottom of my feet, you know, is A1. So a lot of you guys, you know, that got to get on these these pills and shit that they show y'all on TV, you know, Cialis, you know, y'all young dudes be 30 years old, 35 years old. You know, can't even get it up right. You know what I mean? 30 years old. You need to start eating less and walking more and drinking more water. And that's going to help you out tremendously. You feel what I'm saying? Plus, you know, the more you eat, the more belly you got too, the more it take away. The more belly you got, the more it take away from, you know, your manhood down there, you know. So, you know, I try to stay in some kind of shape, you know. I try to do what I can. You know what I mean? I try to do what I can, you know, through fasting and all that, you know. I'm almost 40. You know, I'll be 40 in like a couple years. You feel me? So yeah, just be careful. Just be careful about eating. Even women too. Like women, y'all got to be careful, because here's the thing with women, right? Women gain weight easier than men do because y'all body is storing fat for two. A woman's body is naturally programmed to store fat for two, because women, you know, women have children. Natural women have children. So you got to be careful, ladies. You know, I know a little extra cushion for the pushing is nice sometimes, you know, but you got to be careful, because that's why women gain weight easy, because your body is storing, you know what I'm saying, for two people. Hell, maybe even twins if you get lucky. Mr. EBK8 in the chat says, can't be a slave to food. Yeah, you can't be a slave to food. You can't be a slave to anything, really. You can't be a slave to anything. So yeah, man, just be careful. And, you know, a lot of this food is just bad anyway. So if you can, cook your food, man. You know, my grandfather lived to be 100. He would have been 101 this year. But let me see. Missy B says I had twins. Well, damn. Well, shout out to you for having twins, man. Shout out to you for having twins. I wouldn't mind having a set of twins. My next pair of children. Yeah, but make sure y'all cook y'all food too. Okay. So this next clip that we're going to watch is a man that broke a world record, a special world record. I'm going to let y'all see what it is. I'm gonna pause it because it got music playing. All right. So for those of y'all that can't read the writing, because I know it's kind of small. So this man that we're looking at holds the world records for removing 91 bras in 60 seconds. So this man that we're watching on the screen holds the world record for removing, or I guess you could say unhooking 91 bras in 60 seconds. Fellas, do y'all think y'all could do better? Y'all think y'all could do more bras than he could in 60 seconds? I don't know if I could. You know, and I'm a breast guy. You know, I'm not an ass guy like that. You know, women, this is just my personal opinion. I feel like women that got big asses, they cheat more. I feel like women that got big asses cheat more than women that have nice breasts. That's just my personal opinion. And I feel like women that have nice breasts, they're better wives than women that have big asses. That's just my personal opinion. I think a woman that has a nice big ass, I don't think she's gonna make a good wife. That's just my opinion. Now the exception is not the rule. The exception is not the rule. But I think a lot of y'all fellas, y'all be seeing what's going on in the backside, and y'all be falling in love and shit. And y'all be tearing it up in the bedroom. Next thing you know, y'all got 3, 4, 5 kids, and you want child support. Now you on YouTube making videos and all that kind of shit. I think the best wives have bigger breasts. I don't think the best wives have big backsides. That's just my personal opinion. You know, that's just my experience in life. That's just my experience in life. Yeah, but the man on the screen, he holds the world record for removing 91 bras in 60 seconds, which is insane. Yo, can you raid YouTube channel where me and second and 2 of my friends make video, please? I don't know what you gotta say that better. I don't know what you asking. I don't know what you asking. You gotta ask that question better. Somebody said how many kids I got. I got 2. I got 2 daughters. One is grown and one is almost grown. My youngest daughter, she'll be 18 in October next year. She graduating high school in May of next year. Somebody said we should do a study. Yeah, I mean, you could do a study on that. You could do. This is my personal opinion. Every dude that I know that got with a chick that had a nice ass, it didn't work out. Most of the men I know that, you know, they have their wives have a nice chest, they still married. And they have happy marriages. That's just me. Yeah, I know what a YouTube raid is, but I don't know how to do that though. I don't know how to raid YouTube channels yet. But check this out. This is a hologram in China, right? This is a hologram in China. Hopefully y'all can see that. These are wolves, right? These are wolves in a theater running straight into a crowd. This is a hologram. This is not real. Hopefully y'all can see that. Those are not real wolves. Those are holograms. Yeah, but that's crazy. What y'all think about that? That's crazy. That's crazy. Insane. Those are, they look real, but they're not real. That is insane to me. I don't know if this is possible, guys, but we're at 90 likes. Can we get to 100 likes? Can we get to 100 likes if possible? We're at 90 likes right now. And I appreciate everybody that came to hang out with me this morning. Somebody said Jesus is God in the chat. I rock with Jesus. I rock with Jesus. I don't have a problem with Jesus. The only issue I have with people that believe in Jesus is, you know, Jesus went through the sacrifices that he went through for you to be strong, not to be weak. So that's the only disagreement that I have with people that believe in Jesus, is that oftentimes they, you know, the belief is supposed to make you stronger, not weaker, in my personal opinion. But yeah, like I said, those are holograms. It's not real. It's not real wolves. Coming up on the screen, we have a 19-year-old woman that gives birth to twins, but each has a child by a different father. So we have a 19-year-old woman here on the screen that gives birth to twins, but each has a different father. Somebody said, Live Kami says, wow, the fact that hologram is being used is scary. Yeah, because there are some scary things that they can project on those holograms. I'm going to be honest with you. There's some scary things that they can project on those holograms. And I don't want to say it because y'all know technology is listening. So whenever you say something, like you know, y'all know you be scrolling on your phone and the shit pop up on your screen. So I don't want to say, because I know, I have some things that I wouldn't want to see on a hologram. We had the Tupac hologram like 10 years ago. Yeah, I remember seeing that hologram. But those wolves that we just saw was different, though. Yeah, but we have a 19-year-old woman gives birth to twins, but each child has a different father. So in a rare and astonishing medical event, a 19-year-old woman from Brazil gave birth to twin boys who each have a different biological father, a phenomenon known as heteropaternal superfecundation. I think that's how you say that. Doctors confirm through DNA testing that while both babies share the same mother, they were conceived by two different men after the woman reportedly had intercourse with both within the same 24-hour period. Medical experts describe this as an extremely rare occurrence, estimated to happen in only 1 in a million twin births, highlighting a fascinating and little known aspect of human reproduction. Insane. Somebody says, so now she gets 2 checks. Absolutely. Yeah, that's crazy. She gonna get them checks, man. But them babies gonna have some questions. The baby's gonna have some questions when they get a little bit older. You know, and it's funny too, man, because like, listen, I have 2 daughters, right? So I know us men, I know we get a bad rap for, you know, messing with different women at the same time. But I'm going to be honest, ladies, y'all need to do better, man. I tell my daughter, especially my youngest daughter, You are responsible for what goes in your body. You are responsible for who goes in your body. Ain't no he did this, because no man can go in your body if you don't let him go in your body. And I'm so sick of women out here trying to be innocent, trying to make it look like they're innocent, trying to make it look like they're the nice girl. No, ma'am. No, you shouldn't have opened your legs. You shouldn't have opened. When I was growing up, they had all kind of PSA commercials on TV, for young men. Wrap it up, protect yourself and all this kind of stuff. But they never had any type of PSA commercials for women opening their legs. As if he just went in there without permission. A lot of women, they just make bad decisions for who they let between their legs. Simple and plain. And as for me, even though I'm a grown ass man and I can do what I want, listen, if you think I'm about to be out here messing with these women, you are out your rabbit ass mind. These women are nasty today. These women is nasty today. These women today don't give a damn today. A lot of these women don't even know how to wash their ass right. Hell nah. Hell nah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, we got a troll in the chat. Another troll. How long we been in? We've been in here. We've been in here over 3 hours. Why are you just now getting here? This troll is saying, what's her name? Kaya Jeter. Get off here whining and go be a man. I'm being a man. This is my job. I'm being a man. This is my job. What are you talking about? I've been at work for 3 hours already. What are you talking about? You need a loan? I could probably give you a loan. You need some money? I could probably give you some money. You need some money? How much you need? Now, the interest rate is probably going to be like 45, 50%, Kaya. But, if you need a loan, I'll help you out. Can we get to 95 likes? We're at 93 likes. Scott the Rock saying, is it the parenting, in my opinion? Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do, when it comes to women, I think a lot of it has to do with parenting. Because we live in a culture today where, you can't tell a woman nothing. Women have this thing where they're, oh, I don't want a man to tell me anything. No man. I just want to be independent. Those are dumb women, in my personal opinion. They're dumb and stupid. And it's their choice to be dumb and stupid. That's just my personal opinion. Now, if you're a woman that's out here being responsible, doing the right thing, you're not sleeping around, you're handling your business, more power to you. If you're being responsible, more power. But I'm not talking about those women. I'm talking about the women that are just like, you can't tell me what to do with my body. Cause even my girlfriend, she is, I got to give her credit. She is not the type to be messing around out here. Like when I met her, she was not really messing around like out here like that. She's very careful who she fraternizes with. And that's one of the main reasons we together. You feel me? Yeah, it's a double standard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to deny it. Yeah, us men, yeah, we sleep around with different women. We smash in different women. But here's the thing, ladies, y'all can do what we do, but it looks worse on y'all. It looks worse on y'all. Me sleeping with different women is not it doesn't really look bad on me because I'm a man. It's what I'm expected to do. But a woman, it looks way worse on a woman. It's the double standard. It's just the way that it is. I didn't make the rules. I'm just telling you the rules. You can't do what a man do. You can try, but it won't look good. Sorry. You know, and this ain't you try to control women and all this kind of stuff. Nah, I'm just telling you what it is. Don't no man that's about his business in his right mind want to be messing with some chick that's out here sleeping around and sucking dicks every 5 minutes. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Now you have some men that's gonna make the exception. But the exception is not the rule. Let's take a look at this last clip.
Hey, I don't think you should be dressed as Santa.
Why not?
It's confusing to children who think you're Santa. You're
Oh,
mixing
yeah?
politics.
What about men who dress like...
I don't care.
Wait, what?
You're confusing to kids.
Don't yell in front of kids.
No, it's not Jimmy.
Don't yell in front of children.
No, I'm okay with you yelling. We can keep walking.
Yeah.
This is a place where kids are walking by.
Hey, I don't think you should be dressed as Santa.
Why not?
It's confusing to children who think you're Santa. You're
Oh,
mixing
yeah?
politics.
What about men who dress like...
I don't care.
Wait, what?
You're confusing to kids.
Don't yell in front of kids.
No, it's not Jimmy.
Don't yell in front of children.
No, I'm okay with you yelling. We can keep walking.
Yeah.
This is a place where kids are walking by.
Hey, I don't think you should be dressed as Santa.
Why not?
It's confusing to children who think you're Santa. You're
Oh,
mixing
yeah?
politics.
What about men who dress like...
I don't care.
Wait, what?
You're confusing to kids.
Don't yell in front of kids.
No, it's not Jimmy.
Don't yell in front of children.
No, I'm okay with you yelling. We can keep walking.
Yeah.
This is a place where kids are walking by.
So basically, in a nutshell, you have Santa Claus here, holding a sign that says trans women are men, which trans women are men. And you have some crazy, deranged liberal who decides to take it upon herself. It could be a they, I don't know, to say that he shouldn't be doing that because he is confusing children being Santa, and he's bringing politics into it. But I mean, hey, these are the same people that want to bring drag queens into your schools and have them read books to, elementary aged children. So I don't see anything wrong with his sign, just me personally. But yeah. I hope you all enjoyed the live stream today. Hope you all enjoyed the live stream today. It got started a little bit later than usual. I try to get started in the dead of night, usually about 1 or 2 a.m. But it's the holiday season, busy. And my main initiatives over here at Zone 864 TV is to inform, educate, and entertain, you know. So those are my main initiatives over here. You know, we talk about trending topics. We talk about whatever. We talk about politics. We talk about sports. We talk about whores. We talk about men who, you know, are simps and they give everything that they have to women. We talk about it all over here. We talk about it all over here. But listen, man, it's the holiday season. Enjoy your families. Make sure you stay safe out here because as you can see, people are crazy out here. And we're at 96 likes. Can we get 4 more likes? Can we get 4 more likes before we leave? We're at 96 likes. We're at 97 likes. You know. And whether you believe in God or not, you know, do the right thing. Do the right thing. You know, just because people have bad attitudes out here and, you know, they're just so miserable. Don't follow their footsteps. Be a leader. Be a leader. Don't be a follower. That's what I was taught. And I know this might sound corny, but you know, it's just the way that it is, man. You get so much further in life leading and setting a positive example, positive influence. And like I said, you know, I have my personal opinions and my views, but you know, you could be a trans person. I don't hate you. I don't want any harm. You could be a gay person. I don't hate you. I don't want any harm to come to you. We just have a disagreement on certain ideologies in life. That's what it is. We can agree and we can disagree and still exist. This is how the world moves forward. Somebody says, doing this for likes, you are a loser. But the funny thing is, you're in my loser chat room. You're in my loser chat room. And you felt the need to say that in my loser chat room. That's what I find hilarious. You know, these trolls coming here, we're at 97 likes. Can we get 3 more likes for the haters? Can we show the haters what support looks like? Can we show the haters what support looks like? Oh, yes, I'm letting the haters hate. Absolutely. That's why I didn't block that. That's why I didn't block that lame. That's why I didn't block that lame troll. That's why I didn't block the lame troll. Because they want to be in here with us. We've been rocking for over 3 hours. They want to be in here. They want to be in here with us because they ain't got nowhere else to be. So that's all that is. That's all that is. They just want a little bit of attention. That's all. It's all good. It's all good. I know how it is. When it's cold outside, girl, who do you come home to? Cause if you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. Cause if you think you're lonely now, wait a minute.